Radiant Mind has been designed specifically for Westerners. It's a course that runs over 9 months, that draws on the most essential principles and practices coming out of Buddhism, Taoism, and Hinduism that have the capacity to liberate us from our suffering, to introduce harmony, clarity, peace into our lives. So the course has been designed in a way that people can work with it, integrate it in the context of their daily life without needing, for example, to go into a retreat situation. Non-dual really means that we are no longer creating any gaps, any split or fragmentation in our being. So it's a state of full and total integration. We are integrated to the point that there's no longer a division between inside and outside, self and other. We're no longer creating a gap between where we are and where we would like to be. As a consequence, we're completely at home and totally complete exactly where we are, wherever we are. The course is relevant and accessible to everyone. Why? Because there are no preconditions needed in order to connect with our real, true, essential state of being. So consequently, everyone can work effectively with Radiant Mind material. It does not presuppose that people have been meditating or practicing Buddhism, for example, for many, many years. Radiant Mind does not offer specific training in meditation. In the course, people find that they deepen their practice of meditation. People also discover the experience and the state of natural meditation. This is the state where we are meditating without needing to do it, where meditation arises effortlessly. The focus of Radiant Mind is to discover a place, a space, where there is nothing that we need to do. We're complete with things exactly as they are. It's natural that people enter the course with expectations. People come to the course looking for more peace in their life, how to reduce their suffering, how to deal with challenges more effectively. But it's interesting because if we look at it closely, expectations keep us in time, and they actually create a subtle form of dissatisfaction. When we have expectations, we can't be complete in the moment. We're looking into the future, to a different state, a different type of experience. In Radiant Mind, we close the gap. We dissolve our expectations again so we can be totally complete, totally satisfied with things exactly as they are right now. Radiant Mind is not obviously Buddhist. It draws on the essence of Buddhist liberating love and wisdom. People who are Buddhists can recognize the Buddhist source in Radiant Mind. Other people can engage in Radiant Mind without any knowledge of its Buddhist origins. Radiant Mind is built on 3 three-day workshops. Those workshops give us a direct experience of this ultimate state of non-dual awareness, the state where nothing is missing, where suffering is no longer possible. The Course then includes teleconference calls where people come together in smaller groups with me. We then replicate, we recreate the experience that happened in the workshops in those regular teleconference calls. There are also readings, guided meditations for people to follow, and many, many practices that people do by themselves and with other participants in the Course. So there are in fact many opportunities every week throughout the Course for people to actively engage with radiant mind, to actively engage in discovering and more deeply appreciating the state of non-dual awareness. In radiant mind, people clearly discover a state beyond suffering. We discover a way of being, a level of consciousness in which it is impossible to suffer. This is essentially the journey of radiant mind. We make a journey from a state of consciousness in which we experience pain and pleasure into a state of awareness within which we are beyond the possibility of suffering, beyond the possibility of coarse pleasures. We move into a state that's sometimes called the union of unconditioned bliss and emptiness. It's possible for people to sign up to Radiant Mind and not engage in the process and not get the result that we're talking about. But the ultimate result that we're talking about in Radiant Mind is to go beyond the very structure of loss and gain, to go beyond the need to be looking for something else, for things to be different. That's what we're essentially working at in Radiant Mind. How to discover ongoingly the place where we are complete, totally complete, with things as they are right now. I prefer to think of Radiant Mind not as a course, but as a way of being, a more fulfilling way of being. Radiant Mind is a structure that allows us to develop a more fulfilling way of being. So Radiant Mind doesn't finish at the completion of the course. It naturally continues to the extent that we have embedded that way of being in the very structure of our existence. Radiant Mind comes out of 35 years of involvement that I've had in primarily Mahayana Buddhist traditions, along with an integration with Western psychotherapeutic insights and practices. For about 20 years, I studied and taught Tibetan Buddhism in a traditional context. I then began to experiment with the integration of Eastern and Western forms for achieving fulfillment. So Radiant Mind is the culmination of that process.